My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. It is definitely a turnaround of the way of thinking that we are prone to in the world. The way we like to assume that the world gives us experiences, and we look about and we are succumbed to the experience of the world, opposed to the world is succumbed to the experience of our minds, right? You might not be there, but this is really coming to the depth of what this is all about. Now, you might have heard a phrase, as above, so below. You might not have, but what this is reference is to this, that the world is considered below, and what you are as consciousness, the great consciousness that all of this existence is derived from, is considered above. So this is actually the heavenly perspective. And even though we get into a lot of different things around this, and we're going to get more in depth and explain things, it's a recognition here that quite literally, as I see meaningless world in any definition, if I see an angry world, if I see a problematic world, if I see a world coming to an end, I am seeing what is in my mind. Now, every time, regardless to what degree you like to think of this, to me, it is literally 100%. Everything that is in existence is a complete reflection of the state and concerning and thoughts of my mind. Now, there's two aspects of consciousness. There's the ego consciousness, which is on the surface, which we usually are obsessed with saying it's ourselves. It is the voice in our head that talks to us. And then there's a greater, bigger consciousness that is more united with the totality of all that is. This being Christ consciousness. So as we use Christian terminology in this whole course, we want to recognize that being one with Christ and Christ being one with God is quite literally saying that all is joined, unified, and connected. And so what is it unified and connected in? Many would tell you it's just strictly energy, but that's the spiritual universe, which is representing the consciousness, which is only strictly one. So this, I use the term consciousness, and you even hear in contradictory terms in A Course in Miracles, but remember that there's a lower consciousness ego perspective, and then there's the, which would be, say, I'm conscious, and if someone's unconscious, right, they're like dead, not responding, right? So that's referring to conscious ego personality, okay? So consciousness as a big mind, something totality of all existence, which you actually find in the majority of religions, that it is a reference to quite literally the mind of God. Yes, not as a separate entity, not as a separate thing, not in any sort of way, but you can experience it that way if that's what you so choose. That's what makes all of this even possible, that you have the power to make anything real. And you don't really remember making the decisions of this world to make it happen this way, in this fashion. And it's pretty intense to even think that's even a possibility. But the only reason miracles are possible is when someone discovers the mind of Christ and they become the presence and knowledge and understanding of Christ. Then they literally can manipulate the whole universe in which they created in their minds. So it's a pretty intense concept, but think of it more like a dream. Of course, Miracles references to the dream analogy often. And this is like if Christ is the one that is dreaming. And then everything in the dream, the people in the dream, is all the same one dreamer. And when you have a dream and you're experiencing other people, you are experiencing yourself. They're not actually other people. It's all in your mind. One consciousness. Got it? So it can be a little tricky, but yes, the dream analogy is very helpful in understanding this, because you can see how everybody really is in the same one dreamer's mind. So it's very helpful that everything you see in a dream, as chaotic as it might be, and how we make it complicated and trying to use it as a debatable variation, remember the difference of your mind is very little. I mean, your mind's very little, sorry to tell you, compared to the mind of Christ, in which is making this. Well, this is not as arbitrary, not as fancy, not as crazy, not as changing and weird like dreams are, right? There's a lot more power and authority in the mind of Christ.